The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Thursday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day, and we thank Greenwood Chevrolet for their constant support since day one of YSN. We couldn't do it without them. They've been through a lot of twists and turns that this show has taken for sure, but we thank them for their constant support. And as always, our presenting sponsor is Greenwood Chevrolet. If you were in the market for a new or used vehicle, make sure to head over to Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown, and they will take care of you. Speaking of Greenwood Chevrolet, you can find styles of used and pre-owned cars like the Chevrolet Volt LT for cheaper prices. Stop by the showroom or check out their selection at their website today, which is greenwoodchevrolet.com. So make sure to check out that really, really slick looking Chevy Volt LT and other new and used vehicles at Greenwood Chevrolet. They go the extra mile for you. So we're going to have a good show today. We always go the extra mile. We're going to recap, of course, Class B baseball from last night, go over all the stats and big names that have come through, and it was 18U action last night, so we're going to go over that. We're going to go over what games are going to be happening in 16U tonight, and then we're also going to be putting up the YSN baseball all-star rosters, talking about them, talking about the game a little bit as we get closer and closer to that all-star game, which is going to be happening on Saturday. That's like 2 days, guys. 2 days. Saturday at 7 o'clock, Bobstein Park. You don't want to miss that event. All the YSN's finest and the best that the YSN family can provide are going to be at Bobstein Park on Saturday and showcasing not only their talent but representing all their schools. One of the best parts about it is you get to see all the different jerseys, all the different uniforms, all the different schools represented. So can't wait for that. We'll show you the rosters that have come out and talk about them a little bit later on in the show. But first thing is always first. We are going to dive into Class B baseball and see what happened last night and talk about where we stand. And I'm going to pop up the Class B website on your screen as always as well. And we will see what went down last night. Getting us started is Dura Edge in athletics. Athletics with the 7-0 win in shutout fashion. That is a lot of shutouts we're seeing this week as pitching continues to take a step up in this week of Class B baseball. We talked about it yesterday with Scotty, how it has taken a couple of weeks, but now all of a sudden the really good pitchers are starting to put their best foot forward in Class B at Bobstein Park. And this game, no different, as Athletics pitched their way to a shutout, 5 runs in the bottom of the third. And after that, with the way they were pitching, it was pretty much over. They did add a run in the 4th and the 6th inning. Big bats for Athletics. They had 2 RBIs from Jake Wallace. He went 1 for 2 with a walk and those 2 ribbies. Then they also had an RBI from Evan Tice. He went 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. And then 2 walks, a run scored, and an RBI from Jeff Brenner. The real story, though, was the pitching of Athletics, and it was Jack Leipheimer going 7 innings, giving up no runs on just 3 hits, struck out 3, walked 1. And usually, we've been talking about in these really successful pitching performances, talking about the strikeout to walk ratio. And this is one of the outliers where Leipheimer did not get a lot of strikeouts, just 3, put the ball in play a lot. But as you can see from the box score, Athletics was just a 1 error. So trusting his defense, letting the offense put the ball in play, and defense made a lot more plays than they didn't in this shutout. And as you'll watch more and more baseball, one of the things you'll quickly realize is not every pitcher is cut from the same mold. You have your strikeout pitchers that thrive on the big strikeout numbers, getting 7, 8, 9 a game and then walking just 1 or 2. But then you also have the pitchers like Leipheimer last night who really thrive on just getting weak contact. They're not swing and miss stuff, but that's okay. They're a lot of movement. They work every part of the zone, and they're more contact pitchers. And if you have a good defense, then you can be just as successful as a pitcher that is getting a high strikeout rate. So very impressed with the pitching from Athletics last night, and also, as we said before, the pitching so far this week in both 18 and 16U has been pretty good in these wins. We've seen multiple shutouts and a lot of high strikeout to walk ratios. Next game on tap is the Avalanche. They were able to take down Nightline 6-3, the final score here. And as we look at how this game broke down, scoreless through 3, scoreless through 4, and all the way 6 runs in the 7th and 3 runs in the 7th for Nightline. So all the runs coming in the final frame. 6 runs on 7 hits, 2 errors for the Avalanche, 3 runs on 7 hits, no errors for Nightline. Let's take a look at some of the big hitters in this game and start with the victorious Avalanche lineup. And they had RBIs from a lot of different places. We'll start with Michael Erneman, who went 1-for-3 with a walk and an RBI. They also had an RBI and a walk from Julian Trott. RBI came out of a multiple hit day from Bennett Hine, who went 2-for-2 with 2 walks and an RBI, so they were unable to get him out at all. Heine, a really big thorn in the side. Santino Piccinelli, who we've seen a lot this summer, has another big day, 2-for-4 with an RBI for him, and then 2 walks, a 1-for-2 day, a run scored, and an RBI from Jacob Maddox, as he continues to also put his name in a lot of stat boxes so far this season. For the Avalanche pitching, 6 innings pitched from Erneman, who went 6 innings, gave up no earned runs on 4 hits, and struck out 9, walked 3. And then the big bats came later on in the game as both E.J. Donatelli and Soren Hedrick both came in relief and pitched an inning for Avalanche. But a really good pitching performance from Ehrman. We go into Nightline hitting as they scored 3 runs. I want to give some shout outs to the players that came up big. An RBI for Aiden Thompson. He went 0-for-1 but didn't make the most of his day with the ribby. Multiple hits from Keegan McCurdy. He went 2-for-3 with the RBI. Carson Fuller went 1-for-3 with a run scored. And then they were not able to get Nate Freeland out as he went 1-for-1 with a run scored as well. Jake Dowie from Girard picked up the loss for Nightline. He went and gave up 2 runs on 1 hit and struck out 1, but a lot of different pitchers getting innings as the starter Andrew Brown went 5, gave up 3 runs on 3 hits and struck out 3. Not a bad day for Andrew Brown, but with Avalanche and their offensive explosion late in the game, just not good enough. we go into the back to the schedule in Class B baseball, and we see Whiting Legal Wear did not turn in a box score, but we can tell you that Whiting got the win in this one, 7-5. The final score there as Whiting gets another win inside the 18U division at Bob Scene Park. We go down to the next game where we do have a box score, and it is the Ballistic Baseball Crew taking down Prospects 6-4. The final score in this one. And as you can see, it was one run in the third for Prospects. Had the lead until the fifth inning, where Ballistic scored 2, and then capped on a lot of insurance in the seventh with 4 runs in the top of the seventh. They needed those 4 runs because Prospects answered with 3, just not enough. 6-4. Ballistic gets the win on 8 hits and 3 errors. Prospects 4 runs on 10 hits, 1 error. Usually, you see a box score like that, the runs are flipped. But baseball, as we always say, is a fickle creature, and sometimes you can be out hit and have more errors and still come up with the timely hits and get the win. And that's what Ballistic Baseball did by the final score of 6-4. See some of the big bats that Ballistic Baseball had. It came from 3 players, really, were the production. And the big one from Luke Leonard, who went 1 for 3 with 2 RBI. They also had an RBI from Gabe Rusnak, who walked with that RBI and did not have a hit. Donovan Sullivan went 1 for 2 with a run scored and an RBI for Ballistic. Just 4 RBI out of the 6 runs scored. Multiple hit day, though, for Tyler Cunningham as he went 2 for 3. And also a multiple hit day from Ian Wong, who went 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. Pitching for Ballistic, it was Colin Crawford that got the win, going 6 innings and giving up 3 earned runs on 9 hits, striking out 6 and walking 3. See what the Prospects had on offense is they had 3 RBIs from Olindo Pizzone. Did all he could. 2 for 3 day for the Struthers player, with 1 run scored, and then a run scored and an RBI from Robert Gumito, who went 1 for 4 on the day as well. Prospects pitching, it was Brendan Ray from Howland that picked up the loss. He went 6 innings, gave up just 4 earned runs on 6 hits, struck out 6, and walked 2. So not a bad line, and not one that you would turn your nose at, giving up just 4 earned runs in 6 innings. But like we said with some of the other pitchers that we've seen already from last night, just some tough luck losers and good pitching performances. So let's move on to the final game from last night in the 18U division in Class B baseball. And as you can see, it was the rivalry that has been long fought, Creekside Fitness and Astro Falcons, but this round was all Astro Falcons. I think they were pretty tuned in after the scare on Tuesday, where they only won 4-1 against Nightline. They came back with a vengeance here on, I should say on Monday. They played on Monday. They came back with a vengeance on Wednesday and beat Creekside 13-1, dominating fashion. You see the runs, they were pretty spread out. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 5 in the third, 5 in the fourth, and that's the way the story went. Creekside scoring their 1 run in the top of the fourth. A lot of big bats for the Astro Falcons, as you can imagine, but a 3 RBI day was the biggest. John Chalice went 1 for 2 with a walk, 2 runs scored, and 3 RBI. The Astro Falcons also got 2 RBIs from Justin Weaver, who went 1 for 3 with the run scored, and then a multiple hit day from Jack Lute, who went 2 for 3 with 2 RBI and 2 runs scored. Joey Perry, multiple hit day, 2 for 3 with 1 run scored, and then a 1 for 3 day for Antonio Cordero, who went 1 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. And then last but not least, AJ Capizzi with an RBI on a walk and a run scored as well. Pitching for the Astro Falcons was flawless Jake Bean, went 5 innings, gave up 1 earned run on 4 hits, struck out 10, and walked 2. So that's another really, really big strikeout to walk ratio. And don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but that seems to be the difference in every game that we see when there's a good pitching performance. Seems to be more times than not a high strikeout to walk ratio. Even back when we talked about the earlier pitcher that only struck out 3 in Leipheimer, he only walked 1. So anytime you can strike out a little bit more than you walk, you're going to have a really, really good day. And Mr. Bean, I'm sorry, my brain just went right into that old TV show, Mr. Bean. But he proves it there with the 10 strikeouts, 2 walks. It's an excellent strikeout to walk ratio for the Falcons. 1 RBI on the day for Creekside Fitness, and it came from Justin Nutridge, who went 2 for 2. A perfect day at the plate. The Astro Falcons, despite their good pitching, could not figure him out. And he had the 1 RBI. The run scored for the Creekside was from Jake Patterson, who went 1 for 2 with a run scored. And Ray Altmaier also threw in a hit in the lineup, going 1 for 2 on the day. The 2 walks were drawn by Tyler McEulin, who didn't have a hit, didn't have an official at bat, but did draw 2 walks. So another hitter in the Creekside lineup that Astro pitching, despite how good they were, could not figure out a way to retire. So after all that was the final score from last night. Let's go and peek into the standings. The Astro Falcons, who we just talked about, still undefeated, 17-0, still with a strong grip of first place, a 5-game lead on Whiting, who did get the win last night. They are 12-5. Ballistic Baseball and Athletics are both 10-7 and 10-8 respectively. Then you have Nightline at 9-9 and Avalanche at 8-10, Prospects at 8-10, and Creekside Fitness with the loss drops to 7-10. Rounding out the standings, Dura Edge sitting at 4-13, and Eagleware sitting at 2-15. And like I said on Tuesday after we went over Monday's games, you still see the same storyline kind of playing out where, yes, the Astro Falcons are running away with first place, and a lot of people might say, oh, that makes this uninteresting or that makes this boring. But really, if you look at how clustered the teams right below them are, when you think about the race for the playoffs and how not everyone in the division makes the playoffs at the end of the season, there's going to be a big race between, 2 and let's just say 2 and 8, between Whiting and down to Creekside, where all those teams are within, 5 games of each other, and especially the top 4 in that lineup are all just clustered in there. Whiting still has a strong grip of the 2 spot. I'm going to be focusing on really the bottom half of this, though. Nightline, Avalanche, Prospects, Creekside. They're going to be fighting for those last spots. And when you look at it, obviously, Athletics, it seems pretty kind of secure, but they're only a game ahead of the Nightline and 2 games ahead of Avalanche. Prospects right there as well. So anything can happen the rest of the summer between these teams, especially those 4 right there that are sitting just a game separated between them, a game or 2, I should say. So that's going to be really interesting down the stretch to see how those playoffs go and who kind of earns their spot. Astro Falcons are just being untouchable. I'm interested to see if they can run the table this summer and go undefeated in Class B. They've already had a couple of scares that they've gotten through. So you think that they've kind of gotten rid of some games where they're not playing their best already. And when they are playing their best, they've proven to be quite the task. 16U's going to be in action tonight. Let's talk about it. Thursday the 22nd. And to kick things off tonight at 5:30 on Scene 3, you're going to see Creekside Fitness take on Avalanche. And then on Scene 1 at 5:45, Eagleware versus Nightline. Scene 2, you're going to have Athletics versus Ballistic Baseball, and that'll be at 5:45. And then the nightcaps tonight, Prospects taking on Whiting at 8 o'clock, and the Astro Falcons on Scene 1 against Dura Edge at 8:15. All these games will be on ysnlive.com. Let's see what announcers are going to get you covered for the day. We'll go to our games at a glance spreadsheet at YSN. And let's see, on Scene 3 tonight, which is going to be Creekside Fitness and Avalanche, and then Whiting and Prospects. It's going to be Bob Zanny on the call. On Scene 1, which will have you covered with Eagleware and Nightline and the Astro Falcons and Dura Edge, it's going to be Matt Marr on the call. And in that game at Scene 2, between Athletics and Ballistic Baseball, Noah Doty will have you covered for that game. There's also going to be an 8:15 game on Scene 2, which I don't see on the schedule. It's probably a 14U game that Noah Doty will also be on the call for. So 6 Class B baseball games tonight. And then we'll talk about it a little bit later, but also tonight the Penn, Ohio football game is going to be at 6 o'clock from Salem. And it'll be DJ Oakley and Andy Haig on the call there. So it's going to be an exciting night for local sports, both baseball and then a little bit of an appetizer for football season, which quite honestly isn't too far away. I think we're under the 2-month mark as August. Let me look at the exact date. It's that Friday. I think it's August 19th, but I could be wrong. August 18th is the first day of football. So as we look ahead, that's less than 2 months away, and we'll have a little bit of appetizer tonight with the Penn, Ohio All-Star game from Salem with DJ Oakley and Andy Haig on the call there. Here we're going to take our break and be back with the baseball YSN All-Star rosters on ysnlive.com. As always, we are brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Be back in a bit.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Hi, I want to tell you about my Trish Yearwood home collection available at Sheely's Furniture. With 2 locations serving Ohio and Pennsylvania, Sheely's is one of the country's top sellers of my home collection. And the best part? At Sheely's, you never have to wait for a sale. They offer everyday low pricing as well as a price match guarantee, so you can shop the Trish Yearwood home collection with confidence. Come see my collection with something to offer for every room in your home and get it all with free local delivery, only at Sheely's Furniture.
Shopping for a vehicle online should be easy and worry-free. Introducing Merge from Greenwood Chevrolet, a completely new way to buy a car that combines the convenience of shopping online with the personal touch and expertise that Greenwood is known for. With Merge, shopping is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Choose a vehicle from our pre-owned inventory, build a deal that fits your needs, and finalize the deal with our online buying team. That's car buying in a new lane. Visit greenwoodchevrolet.com and let us go the extra mile for you.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by the people you just heard from, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you so you don't have to, and we try to do the same here on this show every single day. Speaking of Greenwood, I'm going to put their logo up there in the top right corner so you keep an eye on where you need to go. Hey, I'm proud of myself. I pointed to the right side. If you are in the market for a new or used vehicle, and speaking of Greenwood Chevrolet, did you know that you can also charge your electric EV vehicles as well? Thanks to Jason Rubin, he installed the new EV charging station at the Hubbard locations, and you can also stay tuned for Austintown location as they are under construction. So the electric vehicle market is expanding, and Greenwood Chevrolet is definitely keeping up, continuing to go the extra mile for you. Check out the Hubbard charging station, and coming soon, the Austintown charging station, which is currently under construction. We thank Greenwood Chevrolet, as always, for being our presenting sponsor since day one, and we thank them also for their support of everything that we do here at YSN. So we couldn't do it without Greenwood, and we thank them again for their constant support. Let's get into baseball all-star rosters. They were announced 2 nights ago, and we're going to put them up for you here and talk about the all-star game, which is happening on Saturday. Let's start with the Team Stars, and see what we have for us here for Team Stars. And we'll just go from top to bottom. And you know what? No, it's fine. You can see Boardman. Gavin Hyde, the pitcher, first baseman from Boardman, going to be representing Team Stars. He is touted as one of the best pitchers in our area by a lot of coaches' opinions, not just ours. Asking about pitching in the area, I think Gavin Hyde is a name that a lot of the coaches are gonna point out as one of the best arms that YSN has to offer. Dylan Simpson had a great year with LeBray. He's going to be represented with the Vikings. The pitcher, shortstop, third baseman extraordinaire will be at the YSN All-Star game. Carson Fife from Champion, he had a big year for the Flashes. Pitcher, second base, third baseman, he'll be there with the purple and gold on Team Stars. How about Brendan Ray, a guy that we've been calling a lot in Class B baseball? He'll be putting back on his Howland Tiger uniform for one last time this season at Bobsine Park, a place he's pretty dang familiar with, and he'll be representing the Tigers, the pitcher and also infielder, Brendan Ray. Then we go down to Jacob Moss from West Branch, another great arm that is going to be featured in this All-Star game. He was a Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley nominee as well. He put up a lot of big numbers for the Warriors. And he'll be representing the Big Green Machine on Saturday, the pitcher and center fielder. How about the YSN Freshman of the Year from Hubbard, Braden Songer? He'll be able to attend and represent Hubbard. The pitcher, shortstop, second baseman, he impressed a heck of a lot of people. We asked some coaches around the area their opinions on freshmen this year, and a lot of them pointed right to Braden Songer. He has a lot of respect from the area coaches, and we're happy that he'll be aboard on Saturday. Ricky Palumbo from Lowville, he'll be in. The pitcher from the MVAC gave a lot of those teams a lot of problems, and he'll be one of the arms featured on Saturday. Another great arm that's going to be featured is Conneaut's own Bryce Sperlin. We're so happy that Conneaut and the rest of the 440 teams that we have now are getting their first taste of the All-Star Classic Baseball Edition. And Bryce Sperlin, congratulations for being the first Conneaut baseball player represented in the YSN All-Star Game. Hopefully the first of many as we continue to hold this event throughout the years. little drink break, so excuse me. But we go down the list a little bit more, and we see Tyler Skaggs, the catcher from Champion, joins his battery mate Carson Fife, and he'll be aboard as one of the catchers on the roster for Team Stars. Champion had a great season, and we're so happy that they'll have two players representing the purple and gold here in the All-Star game on Saturday. Another catcher that does a lot of really good things, LeBray's own Brogan Collins. He'll be joining his own battery mate in Dylan Simpson on this team. Brogan has done a lot of good things, not only in baseball, but we also had him on Running Point earlier in the school year to talk about his bowling, a very good bowler. And that'll be something that'll probably be talked about on the All-Star game broadcast. Hopefully, if we can maybe get a chance to chat with Brogan as well. Going down the list, we have Caleb Hadley, the Warren JFK representative, one of two from YSN's 2023 Team of the Year. Caleb Hadley, an excellent catcher. He also plays first and third, and I'm sure he wouldn't do bad at anywhere in the infield. The kid is an amazing athlete and can't wait to see him shine in this All-Star game. We move down the list. AJ Havrilla, the third base / second baseman from Canfield and the YSN 2023 Baseball Offensive Player of the Year. So glad to have him represented. And then right below him, we have another member of the YSN Team of the Year, and Jake Hetrick Carfangia will be representing the Eagles. He is a pitcher / infielder, so he'll be another arm that is featured on the mound in this All-Star game. How about Nolan Agler from McDonald, a pitcher, a second baseman, a third baseman? McDonald having a lot of success this season, and he'll be representing the Blue Devils in the All-Star game on Saturday. Kyler Bourne going to be representing the home of YSN, East Palestine, and the home of DJ Yoakley. We're so proud that the Bulldogs are going to be well represented with Kyler. He had a great year for a Bulldogs team that was pretty under the radar, to be quite honest, throughout the season. Got a lot of big wins, and a lot of people really turned their eyes at. So East Palestine building something special. How about Lakeview, the representative for the Bulldogs? Andrew McRoberts, the senior outfielder for the Bulldogs, will be on Team Stars, which is going to be coached by his head coach in Cam Carson, the coach of the year. So he'll have his fellow Bulldog with him in Andrew McRoberts. Gage Owens from Lisbon is going to be on this team. He is the infielder, center fielder / pitcher for the Blue Devils. Did a lot of things for Lisbon this year. Very versatile, jack of all trades. And we might see him in multiple positions for this All-Star game. Youngstown East has a representative, and we're so happy to welcome Yadiel Lopez to be a part of this game and represent the Golden Bears out of Youngstown. And then we go down to Latonia. Ashton Hullette will be the Bears player. He is the second baseman for Latonia. We go to Carson Rhodes, from Salem, the Virginia Tech commit, going to be representing the Quakers in the YSN All-Star game. He will be the shortstop for this team. And Cam Crockett from Lakeside, another 440 and goal member that we are so happy will be having their first ever representative in the YSN All-Star game. He will be representing the Dragons on Saturday. How about an infielder from Middle Ridge and Gino Novello? Rams on tap there. And we'll stay in the Orange Country as Wellsville going to be represented by Jackson Brewer, the outfielder / pitcher from Wellsville. Last but not least, on Team Stars, it is Jack Darney from Western Reserve. The Blue Devils having a couple of representations here in the All-Star game. So that is your Team Stars, coached by Cam Carson, the YSN 2023 Coach of the Year. Can't wait to see all these wonderful athletes compete on Saturday. And one of the things that you will see quite often, as we go through the other team as well, a lot of arms going to be featured. Obviously, we never want to put too much strain on these pitchers. We try to get as many pitchers as possible. And one of the things I always love about our YSN community and our YSN family, it's never hard to pick really good pitchers. We are just blessed with a strong pool of pitching in baseball, and it wasn't hard to get enough pitchers where we felt comfortable that neither of these teams would be putting a lot of pressure on their particular pitchers. So let's go into the next team, which is going to be the Stripes team, coached by Mark Franken from Heartland Christian. And here's how this team looks. We'll start at the top. And Jamison Beck, the pitcher from Canfield, one of their star arms, going to be on Team Stripes. And he'll have to pitch. Hopefully, we'll get this matchup between him and AJ Havrilla, who's on Team Stars. So that's definitely something I'm looking forward to, as two teammates have to battle it out on separate teams. Trent Newburn, the YSN Pitcher of the Year, going to be represented, and he will come representing United there. One of the great pitchers, and we talked about him at length when we introduced our YSN postseason awards. Sub-2 ERA, did a lot of good things for United, led them to a deep tournament run, and there's just not enough words to describe what he's done for that United baseball team. So we're proud that our YSN Pitcher of the Year is going to be represented there in the All-Star game. Right below him, someone that he's pretty familiar with, and I'm sure he's glad's on the same team this time around. Columbiana's Alex Eusebio going to be on the bump for this team, the pitcher / third baseman from the Clippers. We're excited to see that. We'll stay in Columbiana County as Ethan Fiesel, a guy that, once again, like a couple of others on the Team Stars, that we know pretty well from Class B baseball. We've called quite a bit of him in Class B already. He'll be putting back on the Rebels uniform as he competes for the Team Stripes from Crestview. South Range has Joey A pitcher representation for the Raiders. And then we go right and stay inside the inning 8 for Matt Paparodis from Poland. He'll be there, the pitcher, second baseman, and third baseman. He led Poland in a lot of different categories, and it was a no-brainer to put him on this list as Poland's representative. Lakeview has Andrew Brown. He is the underclassman, so he has to be on the opposite team as his coach. So Cam Carson's going to get a little bit of a taste of his own medicine trying to defend Andrew Brown, another guy that we see a lot in Class B baseball box scores already this year. Andrew Brown representing Lakeview. We have a first ever Edgewood baseball representative for the All-Star game, as Edgewood will be represented by Logan Cray, pitcher and shortstop from the Warriors. We go down to some catchers. Evan Tice from East Liverpool makes his third YSN All-Star game. He is a stud, and we can't wait to have him back at Bob Seam Park. He is also very familiar with Bob Seam Park because he is someone that loads up the stat sheet for Class B baseball. We have Colin Kellerman from Columbiana as a catcher. He'll be there to catch his battery mate, Alex Eusebio. And the Columbiana Clippers, we could have probably asked 5 or 6 players to be on the All-Star game. They are so talented down there in Columbiana. They've been talented for quite a while. I'm kind of wondering what they put in the water down there for the Columbiana baseball team, because they keep just, throwing out great players for the Clippers. And they won the EOAC for a reason. Wrong conference. They run the EOAC for a reason, and they have kind of run that conference for a while. Tyson Terajak from South Range, and then Cooper Rice from Louisville. The winners of our power rankings, the number 1 team in the last week of the power rankings, Louisville. Happy to get them represented. They had multiple members on the All-YSN team, and Cooper Rice will be patrolling the outfield on Saturday as a member of Team Stripes. We stay with the Uni 8 and Gerard Jake Dowie, the pitcher. He's thrown a no-hitter this year for Gerard. Did a lot of good things. Was a big dog nominee for YSN. He'll be representing the Indians as a pitcher / infielder. And then we'll have Logan Boyd, one of the best leaders, I think, in the YSN family. Could not speak higher of this kid. We had him on Running Point during the season. He is just a very well-rounded young athlete, a very good leader for Cardinal Mooney, and I know they're going to miss him. But he'll get to put the uniform on one more time as an infielder for the Cardinals. Franken gets his own Drew Golt on the team, as he is the shortstop, second baseman, third baseman, And honestly, he's one of those guys that I think could probably play anywhere on the field. He is that good of an athlete. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to get in Coach Franken's ear to maybe be put somewhere other than the positions that he's listed on this roster. We go down the list after Heartland Christian. We have Chris Rosar from Niles, the outfielder representing the Red Dragons. Can't wait to see him and what he's able to do. Niles, a team that is always in contention and always putting together quality baseball. They're coached by one of the legends of baseball in the area, so no surprise there. So happy that they get represented in this all-star game. Mike McKenzie, he was the Beaver Local representative for the basketball game. He'll be the Beaver Local representative for the baseball game as well. The infielder out of Beaver Local. We're so proud of Mr. McKenzie and all he's done, not just for Beaver Local, but quite honestly, what he's done for YSN as well as an announcer and personality for the company. Campbell Memorial, you got on the list. You are representing Aiden Vasquez. Will be the Campbell Memorial Red Devil that will be on tap on Saturday. Can't wait to have him aboard. Andrew Calley from Hubbard will be on the team as an infielder for the Eagles. Springfield represented by Colton Rourke, who has actually pitched really, really well in Class B baseball. And he'll be an arm that Coach Franken can go to if he wants to. But he's also able to play the infield and the outfield. So another player that is popping up on these rosters that is kind of a jack of all trades there from Springfield. We go to Brookfield, where Hunter Warringer will be on the list as a utility player. Newton Falls also brings in Owen Gazda from the Tigers, the orange and black represented. A couple of Tigers on this list. We had Jackson Brewer on the other team, and now Springfield and Newton Falls both represented on this team. Vance Story from Western Reserve, we split up the Blue Devils. Vance and Darney will be on opposite teams. That'll be fun to watch. One of the things I love about these all-star games is seeing teammates compete against each other. It's always fun to see that friendly rivalry go on between teammates, and it's always kind of fun to split them up every now and then. So Vance Story will be on Team Stripes. We have Ben Slinker from Canfield. He'll be one of the outfielders, and he has done a lot for Canfield's outfield. He actually led YSN. Led the YSN family in outfield assists. His arm out of the outfield is nothing to even try to test. I want someone to try to run in him on Saturday because I want to see the excitement of seeing Ben throw one from the outfield all the way home to gun somebody out. I think that would be really fun. I'm going to get in Coach Franken's here. I'm going to get in Coach Carson's here, and say, hey, if Slinker's in the outfield, just do me a favor and go ahead and run on him so we can just see his arm be displayed in full fashion on Saturday. Hopefully we get to see that. Last but certainly not least on Team Stripes is going to be Casey Turner, the first ever Grand Valley baseball representative in the All-Star game, joining a slew of 440 talent out of the Ashtabula County. I want to take a minute to thank Sam Torres. He's kind of been our liaison up in Ashtabula County, and if it wasn't for his connections and relationships with these schools, players, and coaches, we probably wouldn't be as well represented out of the Ashtabula County schools as we are. So I think Sam Torres is going to get a lot of credit for getting the 440 teams as well represented as they are. You'll see in baseball, and then when the softball rosters are announced, you'll see plenty of names from the 440 area in softball as well. That will be released very, very soon. But we're talking baseball, and it is still a lot of Ashtabula County teams, and I want to take the time to personally thank Sam Torres for helping us set that up and helping us shine a light on a lot of talent out of Ashtabula County in the 440 district. So those are your rosters. I do want to note that there has been an addition to Team Stripes. Billy Sloan from Jackson Milton will be a pitcher / infielder for Team Stripes, so he will be on the team. We want to congratulate Billy on a fantastic season. He's one of the best leaders. We talked about Logan Boyd and his leadership and how he was able to be such a good leader. We had not only Billy Sloan on the show, we also had Coach Roby on the show as well from Jackson Milton, and they both were just so impressive But Coach Roby, especially when talking about Billy Sloan and the leadership that he's brought to Jackson Milton, could not speak higher about him. So very happy to see Billy Sloan going to be on the list and on the team for the YSN All-Star game. He will be on team stripes with Coach Franken and all the names that you see right there. So it's going to be a fun time. YSN All-Star game Saturday, June 24th at Bob Seam Park. Some information, player check-in is going to start at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock player check-in. And then the game will start at 7 o'clock. So if you're a player, obviously get there a little bit early. If you're a fan, just come in and watch. The first pitch will start at 7. Introductions will probably start about around 6:45-ish, around there, to intro everybody and give the spiel about this All-Star game. We are very proud at YSN to also say that the YSN All-Star games for both baseball and softball will have all their proceeds from the ticket sales and the shirt sales go to the FCA Steel Valley section, or the chapter of FCA out of the Steel Valley. We have had a long-lasting relationship with FCA here at YSN, and we are so proud to give them the opportunity to benefit from our All-Star game. We never want to make money off of these things. We don't feel it's right to make money off the kids in this way. So we always want to make sure that our All-Star games are benefiting a very worthy cause in the area. We keep it local as well. So we are proud to represent FCA this year, and we're going to be able to give them a pretty big check, hopefully, from the proceeds of the ticket sales at the YSN All-Star game. Can't wait to see everybody out there. And when we announced that we were doing FCA and that was going to be our benefactor or our beneficiary from this game, I was very excited. I've said it multiple times on this show. I was very involved with South Ranges FCA when I was a high school student. Coach Purins, who was the coach of the boys basketball team back when I was in high school, he ran FCA. And almost every Thursday morning, I would get up a little bit earlier and head to FCA. It got me started in public speaking. A lot of my comfortability, I would say, talking in front of people came from going out of my comfort zone in high school a little bit and talking in FCA. I got a little nostalgic, honestly, when I was talking about it. I still have the notes to my first FCA talk in my storage of things I kept from high school. And that's one of the things I kind of do look back on every now and then. And it's one of the big reasons why I've gotten into the career path I've gotten into. And I don't think I would have if it wasn't for FCA and schools like South Range that give FCA the opportunity to be held at their school every week. So I owe a lot to FCA. I know a lot of people have that same story, whether probably not public speaking story, but the same story of, FCA getting them through high school, giving them a valve to release some stress every now and then, giving them a guiding light a little bit. So I love FCA. My brother worked for FCA for quite a little bit. So big connections with FCA, not just for YSM, but for me personally. So I am very happy that we are putting FCA as the benefactor for the YSN All-Star game. Once again, June 24th, 7 o'clock first pitch. Players, make sure your check-in starts at 5. You don't have to be there at 5, but we're giving you some time to get there and check in. Just give yourself enough time to warm up and, get yourself ready. But the check-in will open at 5 o'clock for players. First pitch is at 7. We just released an article with the rosters on the YSN website. On that article, you will also find the digital waiver that players need to have signed before they play in the game. So if the player is 18 or over, they will be able to sign for themselves. If they are not, they will have to have a parent or guardian sign for them. That's all digital. So you go on, you follow the link. We will also have that available at the check-in for the YSN All-Star game. So if for some reason you forget to do it ahead of time or you just don't get around to doing it ahead of time, no worries. We'll have you covered at the check-in table. You'll have the QR code that will take you right to the digital waiver that you'll be able to sign at the time, but you will not be able to play in the game without that waiver signed. So make sure if you don't do it before the game, make sure you hit that check-in table so you can get that waiver signed so you are able to obviously play in the game. We are so excited to have our third YSN baseball and softball all-star game taking place in the next several days. Softball will be on Wednesday the 28th, baseball on Saturday, and it's one of the best moments of YSN. It's one of our favorite nights. DJ has said multiple times it's one of his favorite nights is the all-star games that we put on, and we're so happy to put on another one here in the summer to kind of put a little bow on the end of the high school baseball and softball season, and then gear up for, of course, our continued coverage of summer ball with Class B, Little League, and all the fun stuff. And then, of course, look ahead a little bit to football starting in the fall. Speaking of football, we want to backtrack before we get out of here and talk a little bit about the Penn, Ohio game that is happening tonight. I misspoke earlier in the show. It is not starting at 6 o'clock. It is starting at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock is your start time for the Penn, Ohio game tonight. 44th annual Penn, Ohio game for YSN. Will be on the call for it. DJ Yoakley and Andy Hake will be in the broadcast booth. And this will be from Salem High School. And here are some of the schools that will be represented in Team Ohio, I should say. Excuse me. Boardman, Southern Local, West Branch, Salem, South Range, Toronto, Indian Creek, Valley Christian, Lisbon, Crestview, Columbiana, Edison, Springfield, and many more. So those are some schools that will be represented. Some big names that you'll see. Drew DeShields from West Branch will be on the team, as well as Jackson Johnson from Salem and Billy Skirpak from South Range. Those are three really big arms that we featured this season in the football coverage that'll be featured on this stage tonight at Salem Stadium. So we're happy to bring it to you. If you head over to ysnlive.com, you can find interviews with Billy Skirpak and Jackson Johnson that were conducted during the practice that they held to just talk about the games, what they're so excited about, and all that fun stuff. DJ Oakley was on hand for that. So if you're interested in hearing from those two, make sure to head over to ysnlive.com and check out the story about the 44th annual Penn, Ohio game happening tonight at 7 o'clock on ysnlive.com/live, where you can find it. If you're unable to go out to Salem and watch it in person, make sure to check it out on our broadcast. DJ Yoakley and Andy Hake will both be on the call tonight. We have 6 Class B baseball games, 3 on each field. Noah Doty, Matt Marr, and Bob Zaney will all have you covered with a call there. So that's 7 total games between football and baseball on the network tonight. It's a busy night on YSN, and we can't wait for it. We hope that you enjoyed as well. We'll be back tomorrow on Running Point from 1 to 2. Until then, I'll see you